in that sense. So from 2017 to 2021, we are still in the growing process. Maybe I won't take much time, but still field skills is always very interesting component of geography. And in fact, 2018, when I first time met Bhaskaran sir, we were all in the group of writing lessons for 11th and 12th Tamil Nadu State Board. Everybody was telling like Bhaskaran sir will take care of practical parts. Bhaskaran sir will take care of practicals. So I was really wondering, he's a practical man. And today we are going to hear from him about the field skills in geography. Definitely our students will be enjoying this presentation. So without taking much time, once again I welcome Professor Bhaskaran sir and all our participants, dear students and faculty members. Let us start the event. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, madam. Thank you very much for your invite to this prestigious day of Foundation Day of Geography Department in the Central University of Tiruvarur. I'm so proud of this event, and I'm again extremely sorry for the delay to join this meeting that is to be held in the morning, but I excuse. Anyway, so I don't want to take much time to take this one. Now that topic given to me is whether my screen is visible to you all. Please check your device.
It's visible, yes, sir, but it's not like zoom in, I think.
You're using phone, sir, or laptop?
Laptop.
Okay.
Earlier.
But the entire screen is not there. There is, but the title.
This is perfect, sir.
So now it's okay, sir.
Okay, wow.
Yes, yes,
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, good.
Thank you very much. So this is the topic given by the department, and also this is the very essential one. Nowadays, the geographers are not taking this much interest because everybody is very conversant with GIS, remote sensing, GPS, GPR, blah blah, so many things. That means all are tools, geographical tools, but that won't help for proper understanding of geographical issues and problems. So in the earlier, the geography is field-based one. Nowadays, when the new technology came in, then we forgotten the field visit. Even though it is a field visit in the UG, PG curriculum, so we lavishly go here and there and enjoy ourselves, not with the field. But still, our Department of Geography, University of Madras, still we are working for that. We won't allow the students to go for here and there throughout India. So we are choosing the smaller area in the Tamil Nadu or nearby Kerala, Andhra Pradesh, nearby state, and we will sit one particular place and move here and there, matter of 50 kilometers or 200 kilometers like this. We won't travel a longer distance to enjoy ourselves and seeing the scenic beauties. So we are working for some practicals in that field itself. So why we are taking this particular title means that students doesn't have any knowledge about the problems and issues. So when you go to the particular community or maybe a particular area, then only you can know about what are the problems are there in the particular area. Whether there is an environmental problem, there is a resources depletion, or some agriculture issues or social issues, we don't know about that. But without knowing that exact field problems, we are sitting comfortably in the computer room, having the devices, gadgets, and we are working for them, using the high-end tool of the so-called remote sensing GIS and GPS like this. But those tools are powerful tools, but we are not taking the heavy issues to solve using those technologies. So now I am seeing here and there, all the higher education institutions, everybody is preparing colorful, wonderful maps. But those maps doesn't have any information at all. Say about your land use land cover map, prepared by any maybe a scientist, I can say scientist, or maybe your students or be a faculty, but it is a colorful one. It won't give the ground reality. Nobody is go to the field to verify that interpretations, whether it is perfect or not. All the analysis are done by that researchers using the numerical values. We don't know about the representation of numerical value on the ground. That is a problem faced by the geographer. So that most of the other departments, say about civil engineering or other engineering people, all are occupying our own employment opportunity in the job market. That is a thing it is happening here. They doesn't know about that field condition, but they are using the tools, the high-end tools, and they are giving some solutions and action plans. When we want to go for implementing those action plans are getting failure because it won't give a true representation. That is a problem. Everybody is working, everybody is doing the job of processing, modeling, everything. But those modelings are not come out with 100% accuracy or 50% accuracy. That nobody is accepted in the field. When you implement such a scheme, action plans in the field, we are not able to get back the positive feedback from the implementations. That is a problem arises. So the geographer can do a perfect analysis because still we have 50%, at least 50% of field knowledge. Still, that is to be improved. And whenever we are using the tool, then we have to have the field knowledge. The field knowledge starts from the terrain mapping, landscape mapping, slope, aspect, those things. Without knowing that, when we go for using some data sets, using a software and hardware, doesn't have any information. So that is the intention of this particular topic. So now, at least we have some knowledge about the geomorphology and landscape. But even though nowadays geology people also not going to the field, they are working with the remote sensing data by using several spectral signatures. They are arriving the rock type and mineralogy of the particular thing. That is possible. But when they disclose the proven things through the derived things to the general public or maybe other agencies, line department, they feel that is not correct. That is a problem nowadays. Earlier, they'd gone for the field for about 2 months, 3 months to survey a particular area about a rock type or maybe mineralogical conditions or maybe your mineral potentials, likewise groundwater potential and groundwater level, likewise. Nowadays, everything is possible with they feel that everything is possible with the remote sensing data. That is not a true. So you have to have a field knowledge. So that my young brains, you have to take some knowledge about the surface and issues, problems, and take the tool and technique and data sets to solve the issues. That is the main aim of this particular topic, what we choose. The first one, for that we have to conduct some field surveys. Field surveys. What you are seeing in the photography in the device is our students. See that how the people are in the particular environment. So before go for the field work, they are getting themselves to discuss about what we are going to do today. So the field survey is nothing but collect the primary set data set. That is a very, very important thing. Primary data sets through some surveys, through some observations, through some mapping, sketching, and through some measurements on ground. Because you know that most of the planned by the government of India or maybe some ministries, it is getting failure means the data flow and the reliability of the data. So that nowadays we are moving towards remote sensing, but the remote sensing also need some field-based error-free data sets to process the images. So that the field survey is very much needed. The field survey is collection of primary informations for a specific issues through observation, conduct of face-to-face interview or questionnaire interviews, sketching of the landscapes, measurement of the particular parameters for the particular task. So that field work is very much needed for the geographers, those who are studying the geography or spatial data handling. The similar thing, and also that field work also provide an opportunity to extend the classroom learning to the field. That is very, very important thing. Okay, not only life science, our social science also need some field work. Then only we can know about it. Say about here, there is a small slope failure. What you are observing here is the slope failure. How come the slope failure is? You can detect the slope failure on the satellite images, aerial photography, or whatever the data sets you have. But you don't know about the exact reason why the particular area is experiences with the slope failure. Then you have to go for some investigation. Not all, randomly you can go and study well about the particular condition with considering all the parameters, what you observe, what you measure, what you interview in the particular area. Then you have to interact with the local people. So then only you can come up with the some parameters and issues. Then we can able to go for some providing some solutions to overcome with these issues. Without that, you cannot. How come the slope failure is? Because of rain, because of gravity, because of the soil consistency? We don't know about that. But when you learn through the books or some literatures or some lectures, then we can say, but no, this is maybe gravity, this is maybe some anthropogenic activities. Likewise, we can show our hand in different parameters, but it won't give the reality. When you visit the field, not whole, random here and there, then that will be enlightening you for the particular research. That is the experience you gain from the field, apart from the conventional classroom teaching. Conventional classroom teaching is structurized. The parameters are discussed, but how the parameters influencing a particular problem means you have to go to the field. It is not a unique all over the landscapes. The landscape will be differ, but you have to learn the particular thing in the particular landscape itself. So that a thorough field study is needed. Maybe a detailed study or recognition study, whatever it may be, but you have to go to the field, observe it well, measure it well, and analyze it well, come back, do the work on the computer or maybe modeling, then that will give the reality itself. That is a thing can be called as a field study, field knowledge. For that, we need to have some skills development. That is the task of the day, task of the hour. Through the field visit, what are the skills to be developed as a geographer, as a spatial scientist? See, these are the three skills are to be developed when you conduct the field visits. Technical skill, transferable skill. These are the three skills to be developed when you go to the field with the geographical knowledge and assess the parameters and handling the equipments and study the problems, parameters, measurements through equipments, using the various type of data sets. Then you may be having the three skills. Take a technical skill first. The technical skill is start from the handling of the sophisticated instruments nowadays and the conventional instruments. You start from your prismatic compass, your levelers, leveling, theodolites. These are the conventional things. Using your tape, rope. These are called as equipments. Nowadays, we have a GPS, GPR, and we have more number of automated weather stations. You have a portable thing. You can sit and you can collect the information from the particular region or maybe a place and record it well, come back and do the process. So the technical skill is handling the instrument, calibrating the instruments for a detailed mapping. Okay, if you go for some soil surveys, the soil profiles, how to go for the selection of profiles, how to dig the soil, particular profile, and how we can go for finding out the horizons, how to pick the samples, how to test it well, how to go for the finding out the mortals of the particular pedons, likewise. That technical skill you can gain. And you can go for some survey methods. What are the survey methods? Whether you can go for a detailed way or using some socioeconomic surveys, or maybe a face-to-face collection of information, or measurements, or remote sensing data sets usages, or go for a detailed survey. So there are several survey methods can be learned by you when you go for the field visit. Different habitats can be studied, and you can go for finding out morphological things, geomorphological, terrain characteristics, landscapes. These are the technical skills to be learned by you when you go for the field visits. Finally, that there is a sampling, that is also a technical skill. If it is a homogenetic objects, how I can go for the sampling, representation of this one. If it is a heterogenetic, how I can choose my sample. So based on that terrain characteristics, you can go for implementing your learning of sampling, various type of sampling, and collect the sample information for my own task. So these all comes under the technical skill. When you conduct the ground truth visit or be a field visit, you may be able to enhance your technical skill. These are the technical skills. Another one is transferable skills. First one is very, very important. As a geographer, we have to learn the teamwork. No discipline will go for this except botany. So as a geographer, as a social science personalities, we have to go with the teamwork. Teamwork only gives more strength to you, and your research will be a perfect one. Teamwork is very much needed. When you're handling the sophisticated instruments, when you use that conventional equipments, the teamwork is very, very important one. To collect the error-free information. If your team is not good, you may not be able to collect the error-free information itself. And the decision making. With the group, we can discuss with the problems and we can go for the proper decision making. A single man, when they take a decision, the decision may be wrong. When you discuss with your peer group or team members, then the decision will be perfect. And that continuous observation. Observation is a very, very important thing, because sometimes the sophisticated instrument also fail to give a error-free information. The best thing is the observation. First field work is start with the field observation, and the problem solving, various type of data collection, then your planning, execution, research design are all the transferable skills. And collaboration. When you go and you identify a problem, the problem is not solved by you, you can go for some expert opinion. That time you need of different discipline people collaborations, then only the problem will be solved. Okay, project management, data management, these are all the transferable skills. Here, this is the only one is the creativity is very much enhanced in the field work. Creativity is the. And the third one is personality development. So you may ask, sir, why I am going for unnecessarily wasting my money, wasting my time, go for the field work. The field work, I will tell you, brother and sisters, this is a very, very important self-management. That is also a little bit personality-oriented one. Self-management. You may be a master. After the completion of the field work, you will be a perfect personality person having the self-management characteristics. When you perform this particular second skill, then you will be a perfect personality person. And interpersonal skills that will be developed from the field work. And another one is, this is the very, very important one, building confidence. Most of the researchers are delivering the result without confidence. When you conduct the field visit, when you conduct the field surveys, when you interacted with the field people, and when you interact with the other department officials who are all working in the particular area through your field work, then you have confidence. That confidence only gives 100% or 99.9% accuracy of your own result. If so, that result can be executable in the particular problem solving. So that this is the another one, environmental respect. So when you perform these three, then it will be default environmental respect, adaptation, and environmental respect means that is also a awareness among you people and to the others also. That is also comes under transferable skill also. So by conducting the field work, you may be acquiring technical skill, transferable skill, and personal skill put together. Then finally you will be the master of geography. Then only you can call yourself as a master of geography. Otherwise, when you learn from the book, when you learn from some literature, when you learn from somebody's lectures, it won't helpful to you. You cannot be a master of science in geography. When you conduct the field work, when you observe some issues and analyze that issue with some parameters, when you produce some action plans to overcome with this, then only you will be a master of science graduate in the geography. And another question before going for this field work, why I want to go for the field work? What are the reasons for carrying out the field work? That is another question before us. First thing is to obtain the original information, not fabricated. When you depend upon the field officials, line department officials, government officials, NGO, you may not get the original information. All are fabricated based on something, you may be knowing that. So when you go to the field, you will be collecting your original data set for your own problem solving. That is a very, very important thing, so that the field work is very much needed. Another one is, in the changing world, every day the landscape is changed. Every day the problems are changing. Every day everything is changing. If it is changing means you have to have the updated informations. Updated information. So when you want to have your updated information, when you want to have your error-free output, whether it's a map or maybe a derived output, you need to have your updated information for your research. So the field work will update you and update the information for your research work. And another one is gather the first-hand information. When you are using the remote sensing data or aerial photography or drone data sets or whatever it may be, other source of information, first to process the image, to process the other data sets, you need to have a first-hand information through your field surveys. So that without the field survey information, you may not process the particular data sets. Even though if you are processing, it won't give you a reality. Another one is you are going to relate. When you are strong in the field, then you can go for the related studies. Suppose, take example, there is a soil which is degraded or saline alkaline. We don't know about why that particular soil is degraded. All the particular taxonomy of the soil is in the degraded mode or not. We don't know. When we relate this soil taxonomy with the water, with the climatic, microclimatic thing and crop grown, and what are the input provided by the farmer, those things to be related, then only we can go for finding out which one the particular salt in the soil is from the nature or anthropogenic, or who is triggering the particular degraded soil. That means saline alkaline soil. Whether the salt is from the natural sources or maybe anthropogenic. So you have to go to the field and inquire well. Then only you may be knowing that yes, this is the problem. When you use remote sensing data, wherever the white patches are nothing but saline alkaline, but we can't able to know what is the reason for that. Clear? How we can reclaim the saline alkaline? When you go to the field, study well, then only you can give a suggestion that these are the suggestions for wasteland. If it is a natural process, the saline alkaline can be in a different way. That means salt tolerant crop suggestion like this. So to know the magnitude, first identify the problem and relate with the other parameters, then only that will be proper. To acquire skills in research methods, okay, how to collect the information. Nowadays, nobody knows how that data flow will be. What all the data will be available at the grassroots level? What are the data sets available at the intermediate level? Say about your cropping pattern. Okay, your cropping pattern. So the village administrator officer is also having the data. BDO also they having the same data. RI also having the same data. Collectorate office. But when you go to that particular government agency, when you collect the data, but the data area coverage, when you correlate the area data, the data will be changing according to the person to person. So that you have to go your own way by interviewing, observation, questionnaire method, and other various techniques. Those techniques will be more helpful to discard the collected information or upgrade the information. That kind of skills can be enhanced by you when you conduct that. You can go for acquiring the skills, how to handle the equipments. There are several equipments we listed. Those equipments are needed for a geographical data collection. How to handle that, how to calibrate that instruments. Straight away, you cannot go for using the instruments. The instrument to be calibrated based on the terrain, based on some parameters. How to calibrate, how to handle the equipment to collect the information, referee information in the ground. So when you exercised, then you can have the skill of machine handling or equipment handling. That we can. This is a very, very important thing, cartography, map drawing. Nowadays, without go to the field, everybody is drawing the map and the map is delivered to somebody else, some users. Sometimes the user can obtain the information, get it in the Almira. And when you prepare some maps, that maps also put it in the Almira because there is no use. Most of our research project outputs are sleeping in the Almira because there is no reality in the result itself, because they are not conducted the ground visits. They are afraid about the result publications. There is no confidence. There is no confidence on their own result. I already told that confidence, self-confidence. The confidence is not there when they are publishing the result. When they arrive in the result, they are not able to disclose the result to the government agencies because they may be knowing that there are some error. They don't know. So that a perfect cartographic, perfect map mapping skill can be acquired by you by using some sketches and some drawings. And then after coming back to the department, you can go for using some techniques and other things. And finally, you may be producing a wonderful maps through some cartographic technique that you can acquire. Then you can able to go for some socioeconomic data collection through some interviewing, through some questionnaires. And you may be face the particular people who are living there. When you see the people, then only you can immediately you can go for their own environment, and they can know about that. What are the problems are there? What is the reason for the problem? How they are living? What are the drawbacks with them? How to uplift the particular people likewise. So that kind of experience you can gain. And this is very, very important. Nowadays, we are doing this one, relaxation from the routine class of teaching. So whoever conducting the field work, nowadays, all are relaxation, not with the field knowledge. Sitting in the right train or sitting in the aircraft, one destination to other destination, one origin to the other destination, and we can go further and take well food and accommodation, come back nicely, and give a report to the department like this. Relaxation. This normal field work also relaxing yourself by seeing different personalities, different landscape, enjoying yourself, and through the enjoyment, you are collecting some error-free information for your own research itself. And coming to the methods, there are several methods in field data collection, field surveys. Then we will see what are the different methods of field visits, field surveys to acquire some skills. I told you in the beginning, first thing is the observation. Earlier geographers did a very great, marvelous work through observations by traversing themselves long distance of 100 kilometers, 50 kilometers per day likewise. Then they will be observing, recording the events, and they will be publishing some monograph and other things also. Whatever they observe, that will be recorded. That will be published either in the mappable form or maybe in the book form. So field observation is totally nowadays in the higher education, totally it is not field observation. But here also, when in the civilian also, see, students also, they are not observing when they sit in the train or maybe bus, come to the college or maybe university, they are not seeing left and right. Always they are seeing the gadgets, what they have. WhatsApp or maybe Twitter or maybe messages. They are not seeing here and there. When during the travel, even though they are comfortably sitting in the bus and train, they are not discussing with the neighbors. Always they are seeing the gadgets. So that there is no issues of social issues are addressed, observed by the students. My dear young brain, first you have to observe well. Discuss with your neighbors when you are sitting in the train or bus. Sit comfortably, close your gadgets and put it in your pocket. Discuss with them. Observe through the window what it is going on. During the flood, then we can, where the flood is, whether the flood is so depth or not, likewise, whether my vehicle is going or not. That time only we are observing, but other days we are not observing through the windows. So please observe. As a geographer, please observe while going back to the home or when we come to the university or colleges. Observe well and see that the parameters, see that some objects, how it is like this, how the same object is changing every day. What is the new thing are going on? Whether the accident is happen on the road, they don't know about that. They are simplicity. So, as a geographer, observe best thing is observation is the best thing to acquire your skill in the geography. Please observe the environment and make a note on it. That is a very, very important thing. That is a first skill to be developed in the field visit. One among the methods is observation. Second thing is interviewing. So you are going there to the field. You don't know about what is happening here, what has happened there. We don't know about that. Then without the interaction of the people who are living there, when I take a decision, when I am fixing a particular parameter, it is wrong. What you have to do is you have to inquire the people about a particular issue. Through face-to-face or structured questions or casual interviewing. With the casual interviewing, then you can acquire something about your issues. Sometimes when you are asking the direct questions, they are not able to answer the particular issues. So indirectly, casually, you can ask something, some information. Then you can add your own questions in that. Then you can get some. See, The second method is interviewing method. Interview, face-to-face or questionnaire. Another one is the recording, using your recordable devices. You interview and record. Second one is using the other media, like your photography or videography, and like your observation, you are recording all the things in the particular environment, detailed way of recording about the particular issue, and come back to the laboratory and rewind it and go for studying. If time is very short, so suppose you are visiting a particular village, the time is too short, then just you record it well, you through your devices, videography, photography, or whatever it may be, record it well, come back. See, this is another third method of field information collection. Fourth one is the sketching. I told you that sit one particular place and go for drawing that particular. So when you are performing this, you will be an artist. So the sketch also not according to the scale, just whatever you have observed on the ground, that will be put it in your either put it in your mental map or maybe put it in the piece of paper. That is a sketch. Sit on particular place and go first, or otherwise you can move with the transect, and otherwise you can go for one particular landscape, the cross-section way the drawing can be done by. Then fourth, only the measuring things comes. That means using a particular device, you are going for measuring the object in a three-dimensional way. Height, weight, area. So three-dimensional, four-dimensional, five-dimensional also nowadays, using some sophisticated instrument. Measurement. Or, sir, I went to the field, but there is no such devices, or I am not bringing. Use your own organ, then collect and measure something. Or locally available sticks, whatever the materials which is there, use the stick or use the whatever the material and go for measuring that particular. That is possible. Then another one is the estimation. Basing is the estimation. So rough estimation. I don't have any measurement devices, then I can go with some other way of estimating the things by using some already practiced things. This is scientific one, sampling. How I can go for collecting my own data sets on the field. Everybody in the particular village or in the city to be interviewed means not possible, because time, money, man hours, manpower, those things will be. So that to minimize this, the sampling technique to be adopted in the particular field. So field sampling based on the size of the object, then you can go for sampling. Already you may be studied well about the various type of sampling that will be involved in the particular field itself. Whether it is a soil sample collection or maybe a socioeconomic interviews, or maybe a forest biomass estimation, or some field verifications, collect some spectral profiles. So it needs some sampling. Questionnaire method. Suppose when you are there in the field, but the people are not there, maybe some other work, they maybe go here and there. You may not be able to catch hold them. So that what you can do is you can go for distributing the structurized questions to the people, collect the information from the field in the local language or maybe common language. That is also one among the method in the survey. Another one is map reading. You are well versed about that map reading, how to use that prepared maps of Survey of India, or maybe some other agencies have prepared the map. Using the map, how to go to the field. Using the conventional signs and symbols, how I can identify. Suppose say about your triangulation stations, spot height are presented in the map, that will be presented on the surface itself. How I can locate those areas for calibrating my own GPS. So the map reading is very much needed. Some of the object now it is not there, but earlier there is a presence of say about your petal nut plantation. Nowadays, due to the water scarcity, petal nut plantation is disturbed by the water stress. So it may not be there. So on the map it is there during the survey, but now it is not there. So you can compare these two things and I can go for yes, that particular object is not there because of some reasons. Then you put some questions over you why that particular object is not present, why that particular land use practice is not presented now. So then you can go for finding out the reason for that. So map reading is the another method. Photo reading. I will give some examples in photo reading in the next few slides. This may be aerial photograph or be some photographs taken by the photographer. That is also to be taken to the account. Aerial photography, or satellite images, or maybe your GPR images also to be taken into consideration. Photo reading. How to read the photographs. There are some anomalies. Those anomalies to be solved in that is called as a ground truth visit. During the ground truth visit, you have to collect some information based on the anomalies, what you observed on the aerial photographs or satellite images. So that using the photograph, I can go for conduct the field work that is possible. And the map orientation, nowadays it is not needed. Every device is having their own orientation. But when you draw the sketch, it is very much needed. That orientation is very much needed. Anyway. And another one is the documentary method. It's a secondary way of collection of information method. Collection of information from other sources through the text, atlas, video tapes, or audio tape, which is presented in the local or maybe some other archives. That is possible. And filling in sketch. When you prepare a sketch, then you can provide the details in the particular sketch itself. Whenever you are go to the field and you are going for upgrading or updation of the information in the sketches. So these are all the methods of field visit. Then go for the various steps, various stages in the field work. There are 3 stages in the field work. Straight away, you cannot go for conducting your field work because I already told you the field visit will enhance you in 3 different skills: technical, transferable, and personal skills. If so, then that is to be pre-planned, and that consists of 3 different steps. This is the thing we followed in the Institute of Remote Sensing and University. Then only our products are perfect and we got a good appreciation from the Government of India. So this is nothing but the 3 stage. What we exercised is preparation stage before go for any field work. What purpose we are moving? What are the things to be done? There is to be preparatory thing. Second stage is the field work during the particular period. What are the things to be done? Follow-up stage after completion of the field work, then how we can go for working with the data. These are the 3 stages for proper conduct of field visits, and that will be helping the error-free information for your research. The preparation stage, this is very, very important thing. Pilot study is to be needed. When you go with the full-fledged survey, equipments and tools and techniques and people, when you are not knowing the area earlier, then there will be a problem to you. So that before go for a survey or anything, you have to go to the field and study well about the where you can conduct the surveys, where we can put some equipments. So likewise, so that is called as a pilot study to be conducted. And nowadays, nobody knows why I am coming to the field with this kind of equipments, because they don't have any objectives. They don't know any. So that troop doesn't have any idea about why we are coming to the particular survey. A head will know about that what we are going to do. That kind of tendency, dictatorship won't give any a proper field service. So already I told you a teamwork. So everybody has to know about what is the purpose of this field work, what are our objectives. Then only the field visiting. So that we have to formulate our own objectives before go to the field. That is comes under the preparation stage. Designing the methods, sampling or maybe surveying, and likewise. So designing the method of surveys and the field visits. If so, what are the equipments are needed? And permission from the local authorities. When you go to the field, then when you are putting the equipment, nobody will allow to go for your survey. So that you have to go for getting the proper approval from the authorities, and you can go for conduct the survey. And you have to maintain the smooth relationship with the field people. For that, the local administration permission you have to obtain before the conduct of. Another one is there is your transport, eateries, and other things to be get ready for a team of. So this is the preparation stage in the field visit. When you want to comfortably completing your field visit means the preparation stage will be properly prepared. Another one is field work. Field work, you know that surveying, maybe or questionnaire surveying, field observations, measurements, using some equipments. So that can be done based on the formulated objectives. That is a field work stage during the field work. The follow-up is after coming back to the lab, then you have to use the data sets and you have to analyze it well, prepare a report, and if need further visit, then you have to go for field validation. Good. After arriving the result, go to the field validation, again conduct the ground-truth visit and polish your maps and other things. Then only the map or maybe your field work or maybe taken research will be fulfilling your objectives. So these are the 3 stages of field work. Then the field equipments. Next stage is what are the field equipments are needed. First is starts from the stationery, your pencil, pen, and the other things. And the minor equipments called as your compass. Nowadays, everything is with the GPS, GNSS, so that it is not needed nowadays. This is very, very important. Binocular telescopes are very, very important thing because when you are going for observation, what are the flora and fauna by sitting without affecting that regular activity, you sit one particular place, observe it well through the binoculars. Say about the beach, there are one particular place, so much of birds are coming. Why it is? When you go to the particular place, then that will be gone. So that you have to sit one particular place and use the binoculars. Why the birds are there in the particular place, in the particular beach? So what maybe the fisherman can process the fish and the unwanted thing can be thrown, so that it may be. Or maybe a group of people can sit and they can waste some food waste and they can throw the, so likewise, when you want to record the exact problems, you can sit comfortably one particular place and view with the binoculars and other equipments without any disturbance. The maps are very much needed. Okay. Then other tools, some spade and other crowbars and hand goes. These are all the things when you are conducting the soil survey or maybe some rocks, collecting some rock samples, or maybe some parts of trees, likewise. So some basic tools are needed. Measurement tools, as you are aware that to collect the 3-dimensional informations, your start from the tape, ruler, then your total station. When the total station comes, that equipments list will be come down because you can use the total station for anything. So that taking more equipments for conducting the field visit is reduced, so that the name itself it can be called as a total station. GPS and GPR. These are all the equipments collected. Sometimes nowadays automated weather level, water level, and your water quality recorders. So many things are there. These are the equipments. Weather instruments nowadays, portable automated weather stations are there. You can put the automated weather station on one particular place, and you can go for your own business. It will be recorded, and this also connected by VSAT. It will be collected the information every half an hour one, or 10 minutes one, or every 5 minutes one. It will be sent the information to your required place through VSAT. This is also possible. So that the equipments, thermometers, hydrometers, these are the equipments needed, and your camera, audio tape recorders. This is very, very important things. This also comes under equipment. I put this as a questionnaire also equipment. Questionnaire, yeah, a structurized questionnaire is also equipment to collect some information. And aerial photograph, satellite images. These are all the tools and techniques required for your field work. So, as you are aware that these are the equipments, whether you are knowing or not, most of the students doesn't know about the field compasses, binoculars. These are the astronomic telescopes. These are the telescopes to view some. And this is the anemometer. Nowadays, automated weather station, even though it is there, the anemometer functionality is there. Using some nano technology, that anemometer also inbuilt in the automated weather station. Nowadays, there are 14 sensors are inbuilt in the automated weather station. Anemometer also in one sensor, not like this cup anemometer. Barometers also there. And image recorders, cassettes. As you are aware that this is a total station, GPS, GPR also, equipment which is to be needed for collection of information. And your drones, your satellite, your aerial photographs, and satellite images also a tool for your field visits. Satellite images. Now, so this is the theoretical way I discussed with you. பாலு எவ்வளவு நேரம் இருக்கும் பாலு எவ்வளவு நேரம் மீட்டிங் போட்டுருக்கீங்க கன்டினியூ பண்ணலாமா எவ்வளவு நேரம் கன்டினியூ பண்ணலாம் பாலு
சார் நீங்க பேசுங்க 5 o'clock வரைக்கும்
Sir, you can go up to like another 15 minutes.
15 15
no,
or 15?
10 to 15 minutes, sir.
Okay, fine. So this is the
15 minutes. Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So geological,
yes.
Right. So now we gone for the theoretical part. So I discussed with you, but you don't have any observation about what I discussed. See, this is the thing we need. Assume that you are in the field, so that I put the photographs to you. So how a field visit will be helpful for some geological studies. See that there is a small structure they constructed. See, this is the unsafe place now, because see all the trunk of the trees, you see that all the trunk of the trees and the position of the tree, all are inclinated. See that banana tree also inclinated, this tree also, more branched tree also inclinated, this all the tree trunk is inclinated. See the small bushes, those things also inclinated. That means this area is under stress, seismic activity area, so that this is unsafe to be some for living purposes, but unknown by the people they are constructed. Anytime the seismic thing can become and give a hazard to the particular area. Why means they are not knowing that. As a geographer, when you know that the inclination of the tree or maybe trunk of the tree is a little bit inclinated, the area is more on stress, a little amount of vibration. So that every day the plant is observed, then that the trunk of the tree is inclinated and the plant also inclinated. Sometimes wind also can give some stress, and the biomass can be inclinated. So by way of observation, then I can say that I can instruct the people not to live here, because there will be a chance of some problem. When the heavy rain comes, this may be, you know that the debris is source that all are sandy particles. So when the rain comes, the sandy particles can absorb more amount of water and it can be saturated, super saturated. Based on that inclination, the small vibration the material can move on, can be. So these people are under the threat of the seismic things. So by way of conducting the field visit, then when you have the knowledge of the theoretical knowledge and the field knowledge, you apply the theoretical knowledge over the field, then you can know about that magnitude of that particular hazard. See, now you are reviewing the one particular hill. So we may be knowing that sandstones and limestones are likewise, but exactly we don't know about how come this can be. See, here you may be having the sandstone, that is a sedimentary rock. Here the limestone. See how that is bedded properly. There is a contact. Clear. If so, then this may be a loose soil. This is a alkaline. Then what happened? When you irrigate more, then the irrigated water can go down and it can be diluted during the winter. And during the summer, it can come up. Water can be evaporated. Here may be a saline alkaline. Natural process. But the farmer who is cultivated here, they don't know about why my area is so salty during the summer. They don't know. For that, what they can do is you can instruct, when you find out that reason, then you can instruct the farmer not to cultivate the wet crop here, only go for the dry crops. The dry crop need not to go for a frequent irrigation, so that the water cannot move up to the depth of 1 meter or maybe 2 feet to approach this salty terrain. So that the geological setting is needed for the agriculturist. Clear. So that here, see, the depth is varying according to. So this is the arrangement of rock. So the rock arrangement to be studied by every geographer to decide the cropping or whatever it may be. The building structure. Earlier, what we discussed is building, whether the building can be constructed in the particular sensitive area or not, likewise. So here, see that sandstone and limestone. Here. So you can define, when you go for piling the ground, I can decide up to what depth the sandstone, up to what depth this may be. This is a natural process. So that if any saline alkaline patches occur, then this is a natural process, not an anthropogenic one, likewise you can. See here, what you've seen here is, there is a sandstone above the limestone. But here, see that the sandstone is a sharp boundary vertically. See, this is a limestone, this is a sandstone. If so, the land is not proper for cultivation. You can go for some salt tolerant species. You cannot reclaim the entire thing because more depth rock masses are the saline. Here it is totally free. The fellow who is cultivating here and the fellow cultivating here is maybe different or same, but he may be observed here more on alkaline, here saline, or here it is a fresh. We don't know. Because the overburdened soil won't give any information to you, so that a proper understanding is needed. But this fellow, the farmer is not aware about that. They will go for keep on cultivating, but they don't know about the natural process like this. This is pure lime. See that here it is a little bit tricky. Here you have the homogenetic rock here, but here, see, the rock is filled with the boulders. This is a very, very dangerous one. The boulders are comfortably sit on the soil stratum. Maybe a clay, maybe a sand, maybe a silt, or maybe a sandy clay. We don't know. It will be binded properly. When the rain comes, the water will be enter into the soil pore spaces. Then the soil will be loosened and it will be expanded. Then that time the soil won't accommodate that particular weight of the boulders, then it will be losing its. So the boulders can move from one place to another place like this. When you see that this kind of situation arises in the particular cross section, you may be suggested the utility providers don't go for any laying roads here. If when you lay the roads, then this may be reason for the some amount of slope failure. That slope failure can be blocking the road or damaging road. So every year you have to go for laying the roads like so. Little bit you move towards this application-oriented geography through the field work. See that how it will be. Okay. Now, see that this is, I want to show that as a geographer, we are sitting comfortably at the room and we are discussing about the volcanoes and the lava, magma, likewise. But the people, the American geographers, see, you know that maybe 1000 degrees Celsius, maybe, or 500 degrees Celsius. See that the girl and the men, they don't have any special dress wear, but they are collecting the sample from the magma. And they will be collecting and put it in the particular box, and they will go for testing that what all the mineral content which is there in the lava itself. The lava, how the lava flow will be. What is the rate of flow? So they are sitting in the particular place and they are watching and they are recording properly and collecting systematic samples in the particular area itself. Then only they will be knowing that what type of flow is this and how it will be getting disintegrated, degraded like this. So now we are sitting comfortably in the AC room and we are discussing about the magma and other things. See, the other one, using the locally available material. See, this girl is having the booklet. Using the booklet, she is studying the dip and strike. See, she is how it is measuring the strike. Using the booklet, not with the special equipments. When we have a knowledge, when we have a method, then you can use anything for your survey itself to measure. See that she assumed that this is 90 degree and what is the inclination of the sliding of the rock, since it is a sedimentary shale rock. So now she is recording that strike rate and the dip. See another study, even though it is a like your fold, they are measuring with the scale and pen. She is using a pen to study the fold. See, for that we have to have a thorough knowledge about field with the locally available material also. When you go there, you doesn't have any equipment, then you have to use your own mind and you can take anything for any measurement itself. So this is our people. They are watching. They are observing the slope failure areas. See, this is the small slope failure areas because they are changing the landscape. So that thing is slope failure. We came to know that. See, this is the soil, sandy soil, and this is the depth of the soil. If it is practice of land is like this, this may be prone to erosion. This may be prone to slope failure. But here it is, thing is quite different. Because of the anthropogenic activity, by illegal cutting, other things, so there is a slope failure. So the students are observing. Through observation, they are making some sketches. And they are also going for measuring the horizon of the soil, the A horizon, and up to what depth the root is penetrated in the soil. See, all are the bushes. They are not able to penetrate. The root zone is not that much developed, so that easily it will be getting failure. Clear? And here there will be some stress from that particular area. So what happened whenever the cutting is made for laying roads and other things, some other utilities. So what happened? The stress is from this side. When it is coming, there is no some support from this particular side because it is the cut is made by the human activity, so that the stress will be observed and the cake type of slope failure is happened here. And that kind of slope failure can give some problem to the human activity. So those things will be studied. This is when we go for that and collect some samples and go for studying the structure of the texture of the soil, structure of the soil, depth of the soil, then only we can plan. We can go for give some solutions. What type of method applications to be given to arrest the particular. But this area, the road to be there and some of the important structure to be constructed here, that is to be proper means this is to be arrested with some applications, so that we need exact data for that. See, this is the road. When they lay the road, this local engineer or maybe a vendor, what they that person they can do now, they will be cutting that land and fill the road itself. See, students are collecting the samples here and there, and the size of boulders, everything they will be measured, and why it happens. So this is undisturbed earlier. When the road is laid, then these things are happened. Okay. And another one is the paleo relief study. Paleo relief means the earlier relief. The earlier relief is modified by the human activity by want of some utilities, laying the roads and other things. The old relief is modified. See that there are two hand pumps. See, there are two hand pumps. See that how our administrators are providing the hand pumps in the villages. See here, matter of 5 meters, there are two pumps are given. But another village that doesn't have any pump itself. Okay, that is a politics, a different issue. See that there are two pumps are constructed here. See, earlier, before laying the road, this will be maybe a 1 meter high from the surface, because to handle that handle for lifting the water, it may be a 1 meter or maybe half a meter. But see that this particular well, by laying the road, this is defunct. Everything is defunct because there is no space for pumping by laying the roads. So when I want to study the paleo relief, what is the height before and after construction of the land? So by observing these two, then I can go for that. What is the amount of debris put on that structure and how the elevation is getting changed? That is called as nowadays most of the urban areas are that elevations are modified and slopes are modified because there are new materials came in and construction is going on. So old relief is totally modified. When you visit the urban areas here and there, the old houses are the references. When you measure the old houses, those days that is elevated 3-4 feet from the surface. Nowadays, those houses are below 3-4 feet. Why? Means continuous modifications of the urbanization process, urban renewal process. So that the earlier houses are in the down now. So now we can go for finding out that, then we can bring back the paleo relief also. Soil can be studied by digging the profile in different locations and go for piling the ground and go for finding out the horizons. A horizon, B horizon, C horizon, and D, barren rock likewise. So see that horizons, the horizons are not unique based on the landscapes. The depth of the soil of the particular texture can be changed. See, this is the sandy area, sand dune area. See, there is no, all are homogenetic, but whereas here in the hilly areas, the A horizon is limited and B horizon is limited. C is the occupying mode. This will be a anti-salt soil group maybe. See, likewise, the depth of the soil to be studied for assessing the soil health. For that, you have to conduct either this way, piling the ground as a profile, or using the auger, go for augering the particular area, get the cake and go for stratifying the profiles. Then only the soil profile, and from the soil classification will be made according to the USDA, and we can suggest the crop for the particular place. Crop selection can be made with the soil health. So this is the one we adopted those days, 1989. There is a renowned soil scientist, one Mr. Dayalan, is a geographer. I worked along with him in the border of our own Rajasthan area. And he only coined this climosequence. Climosequence is earlier what that soil survey people will be doing now. They will be taking the profile here and there, convenient to them. That is not given a proper soil survey, soil formation methods. He only introduced this climosequence, means study the landscape and slope, relief, accordingly based on the particular land use, land cover, slope, and its gradient. Then we can go for the land unit practices based on the every land unit. Then you can go for one master profile. To fix the master profile, there are series of sample profiles to be. So the numbers what we given, N1, N2, N3, these are all the profiles studied, and we can go for bringing the soil map. Earlier, there is no practice like this based on the convenience of the soil surveyor, because they are not a proper geographer. They doesn't know the landscape. They are from the agriculture department. They will be go here and there, then they can pick the samples and they can go for preparing the soil map. But when the geographer introduced this technique, then universally that technique is followed. Our Indian soil survey of land use planning and National Bureau of Soil Survey, all are nowadays using this. Considering the elevation, consider the relief, consider the land units, consider the land system, then the samples will be taken. So now the soil survey is conducted properly. The detailed soil survey also conducted properly when you know the area perfectly, so that the error-free information will be supported. The error-free parameters will be prepared by you for assessing anything. So this is the profile of different landscapes like this. No time to discuss about these things. Anyhow, so the field visit will be giving an insight view about that watershed. Everybody is discussing about the watershed. Nowadays, Government of India also working for watershed planning, not with the revenue planning, revenue division-based planning, cultural boundaries. So this is a physical boundary, the water drain area. So what we learn, watershed means on the book, this is the what we learn. So this is the basin structure. When the rain comes through the slope, the water can be drained in, and it will be stored in the particular place, or maybe drained into the other system itself. So this knowledge will be in our mind. Then we are not able to visualize the terrain. So when you visualize the terrain, then only we may be knowing that, see, this is the side slopes. When the rain comes, then the water can be collected and it will be stored. So if the water is based on the water quality, then we can go for identifying some problems here. More salty, so there may be rock water interaction, or will be some agricultural activities or some human activities. So likewise, because it is a homogenetic water collection area, any problem, then you can go for discussing with this, addressing with the several activities. Then we studied about the water divide, ridges, water divide. We studied, but we don't know about that. When you go to the field, when you maybe realize that this is the water divide, this is the peak of the hill. So when the rain comes, the one side the water can be flowed this side and this side. This is the water divide. So this can be visualized by you for your further research. And see that using, or people are measuring that width. This is the exercise given. See that even though the girls, they are also part of this measuring. Using the rope, they are measuring the channel width, channel length like this. So sometimes tape, sometimes rope, measure it and again come back with the enhancement like this. See, this is, I only given this job to our students, start from the first order to the nth order by a walk. What you observe, record it well in the notebook itself. Start from the stores to the mouth, of a particular stream, what are all the things you observe? What about the bed load? What about the sidewalls? What about the vegetation? So these things to be studied by us as a geographer. Then only we can plan accordingly. Anything can be error-free data can be obtained, and our studies can be. What is the slope of the particular stream like? See, this is our people. There is no hesitation of walking in the particular channel. See, everybody is working, both girls and boys together, and they will be submitting a stream Thalweg after completion of this. Matter of that half an hour, they will be taking the profiles. Not only that profiles, they are checking the bed load of the streams. Checking the bed load of the stream. See, every distance, every given distance, they will be checking. Or when they feel that some anomalies, then they will be checking. See, there is a girl. She is lifting that bed load, and she will be recording. Yes, this is this much like this. And the water table, water level also can be recorded based on our observation. See, this is the river bed. See, there is a scar over it. There are different scars are there. This is nothing but the different level of water during the flood. The water full channel will be. After that. So we can go for finding out without asking anybody else. Then I can know about that the full channel capacity will be up to this. If so, when I measure the width and depth, then the water column will be studied by me. When I go for the measuring the depth and the width, then I can go for studying that what is the volume of water will be in the particular time period itself. That is possible. Through the observation, I can quantify that one. Here also, this is the gauge. We can measure. Sir, how we can? That is the new instrument came in. That is a total station working with the laser pulses, lights likewise. So we can able to make record the distance between the gauge and depth, and we can go for studying that whether it's a gauge or maybe canyon likewise to decide. So that is possible. So using a digitalized version of instrument, that how to operate, how to stand, how to fix my instrument here. Nowadays, the total robotic total stations are there. You keep that machine here and take the stuff over it, reflector, and when you are moving here, then it will be rotating 360 degree and it will be providing the data to you. So what is the distance you travel? What is the distance between these two peaks likewise? That is possible. And the valley floor also can be studied, and that dissection also can be studied through the sophisticated instrument. So there is a plain area that's called a mesa. That is also can be, nowadays it is studied through a single instrument of total station. You can decide whether it is a mesa or butte likewise. It is possible. So for time constraint, I am rush through my presentation. So based on observation, I can measure the shoreline of a particular coastal area. See that this is the photograph. If I am taking the photograph, come back to the laboratory and I can go for studying well about that coastal. Or when I sit and observe, then I can go for finding out this is the high tide, this is the low tide. Or based on the season, the shoreline will be getting changed. See, this is the normal coast, normal shoreline. This is the present shoreline. This may be a, say about the waves are very less in nature, then the shoreline will be here likewise. So that can be observed by us. Most of them are doesn't know about the high tide line and low tide line. Even though they are working with the coastal regulation zone, we don't know about what is high tide line and low tide line. Every day there is a tide, neap tide and spring tide. Based on that, the water level will be recorded, that low tide and this may be high tide. See, this is the high tide line, this is the low tide line. Based on the water presence in the soil, then I can observe, okay, this is the high tide line, this is the low tide line based on the time factor itself. So based on that, I can have the average. From the average, I can fix 500 meters, no activity area, 20 meters in the coastal area. So likewise, I can go for adopting the coastal regulation zone things. And see that progressive growth of the shoreline. See, this is the old shoreline, the another one, another one, another one. Likewise, gradually the shore is, so this may be a constructive waves, due to the constructive waves. See, this land is progressive. So how I can know? See, this is the old shoreline. So there are some vegetation over it. That means the sea waves are not disturbing the shoreline, so that comfortably the grasses are grown. Likewise, see here, the grasses are very, very less, because sometime the sea water the waves can be approaching this much. So this may be a temporary, this may be a permanent. Like this. And see that based on that the structure of this coast and the ripple lines, then I can say about the shore is getting the straight line of wind, so that there is no oscillation of the shoreline. See, the direction of the wind is common, no deviation of the wind in the particular location, because the wave approach areas are perpendicular to the coast, 90 degree to the coast, likewise I can. So these are the field observation without any measurements, without any using any equipments. I can go for field study. The river, the sea waves dynamics also can be studied by sitting on particular place. How many waves are approached, up to what depth, up to what height waves are coming, and what is the frequency between the two waves. Likewise, so I can go for studying the wave dynamics by sitting on particular place, observing well, based on different time period itself, waves, that is possible. Forest. See that you may be, nobody knows what is the dense forest, degraded forest, deciduous forest. Like, see, here you have the evergreen forest throughout the year. There is no shedding of the leaves. Here, mixed forest. See that leaf structure. See the leaf structure, mixed forest. Here you have the deciduous forest, because one particular season the leaf will be shuts. Then you may not able to get the particular information in the satellite images. If so, then that will be a deciduous forest. So which one of the period the leaf is shuts? So that time you have to get the images, satellite image, and process. Then only you can discriminate. This is evergreen forest. This is the deciduous forest, like this. So some of the planted, that is a bamboo plantation planted by the forest officials, can be studied, and this will be a spectral signature, and use the spectral signature for your forest processing. One day when we complete that field work, we sit together in the resort. Then the students observe that there is a forest fire. See that terrain condition. Then the fellow, students interested, sir, this is the forest fire. Tomorrow we will go and we will observe, we will record what is happening there. Then up to that, the vehicle can move. See, they come down and reach the particular place and they recorded this. That much interest to be developed among the geographers. Then only immediately, when a problem arises, immediately that problem to be find out, and that parameter to be arrived, and that assessment to be made, and the solution to be given. See, this is also field observation. How much of trees are cut down from the forest and can be loaded. When you go there, then the fellow will be giving a nice kick to you. Why you are coming here? So sitting one particular place and watching that bundles. If one bundle this much of kilogram, how many bundles are there here? So totally these many bundles means based on the multiplication of the bundle, then I can go for quantification of this much of forest are cut the particular day, and that can be transported. That can be easily found out by. And there are some sample studies are conducted, illegal forest cutting in the forest buffer areas. So that students interviewed the fellows who are all illegal cutting, and they are keeping that illegal cutting the wood are there in the houses. And they interviewed, and they want to check what is the weight of each bundle. Then she lifted, and then She knows what is the weight. Then she can be multiplied with, if it is a 50 kilogram, yes, 50 into 2, 100 kilograms of wood she collected from the neighboring forest and keep it in the. So likewise, how many people are there in the particular village having the practice of illegal cutting? So multiply this much of forest biomass degraded by the people, the local people, every frequency of a week or month, likewise, that can calculate it. Then there is a fieldwork discussion after completion of this one every day, and there is a discussion and group discussion will be held. And see that another one, the hamlet survey. See, when they observe the small hamlet, the hamlet is within the forest area. This has been encroached by the people, and this has been again further zoomed out, and our people entered, and they can gone for some interview with how come you are coming here, what is the source of your income, why you are settled here, what is the rate of growth of the settlement in the particular village. So likewise, they gone for the field work and collect the information. How come the forest is degraded? How that encroached by the, for what purpose they are encroaching? Likewise, see well inventory. So the well inventory made by the people here, and they are discussing with the lady about water table based on the season. Then what is the depth of the well? Likewise, okay, they are discussing. I don't know whether that video is playing. So,
Are we finished?
Okay. Okay. Oh, there are a few slides I will tell you. Field traverse.
Yes.
Here, field traverse is very much needed because then only we can know about that slope and other things. And they are measuring the bund of the field. What is the bund? What is the width of the bund? What is the height of the bund? Then only we can know about that storage of water. See, then they identified that chemical weathering process. We are not, they identified and tell us. And there are some, see how they are going for sketching up this landscape individually, a group. And this is the field work conducted randomly. See that, not randomly, systematically. The old lady, very old lady, and there is a middle age and the youngsters. So then only that information will be correlated and that information can be validated. So that rural livestock inventory, they will go and find out that livestock and record it, enumerate it. Right. Finally, we come to the conclusions. What are the benefit from the field visits? What are the benefits? Skill development is very, very important thing. And real world, gaining the real world information, that is very good. And you can go for developing your skill of map drawing and cartographic skills. I think you just repeated one. Thank you. So every geographer has to have a field knowledge. Then the field knowledge will be giving you a perfect data sets to you. With the perfect data sets, then you can go for using any sophisticated tools for arriving some results for preparation of action plans. Then it will be perfect. Then that will be more useful for the community. Then only the community will be taking the error-free action plans for their own sustainable development. So a geographer can do, not others. When you are leaving these exercises, when you are leaving these experiments, this field visit, you may not perform well. Your chance, your employment chance, your chance will be taken by somebody else. So that the field visit is very much needed for the geography overall in the higher education. Thank you for your patience listening. Thank you very much. Thanks for the chance given by the HOD and the Bala. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So nice of you. And the floor is open for discussion. And if you have any questions, anyone you can ask. Sir, it is a wonderful lecture as expected. And of course, I expect like more photographs of your own. And
இல்ல field
you
visit
did.
சொல்லிட்டு see
Yes,
what
yes.
we are discussing is field visit without photographs. Again we are conducting means that is also a theory class.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes,
And
yes.
for your information, students, last time we like discussed with Bhaskaran sir to have a combined field work with University of Madras students and Central University of Tamil Nadu students. And we have also planned, but due to this corona and it is somehow disturbed, but I am damn sure that Dr. Bhaskaran sir will help us to conduct a combined visit in future once the normalcy comes. And of course, we will have very enriched knowledge from the field from him. And sir, for sake of students' understanding, although we interested to do field data collection, field-based data collection, and we go for data collection, and most of the times we could not able to get data what we expected from a first iteration, isn't it? Even if you go for structured interview or kind of any even observation, also a lot of people what is management is required, that you can't learn it from any textbooks and like any other aspects. Only by experience we could able to understand. So from your experience, you just tell me few tips. So what are the moral grounds we have to follow when we are in field?
I already discussed in the three different stages: preparatory stages, fieldwork stage, and the feedback stage. So that I discussed in the particular my topic. So preparation stage is very much needed for a geographer. Without preparation stage, we cannot see. We don't know about the ground condition, so that we have to conduct a pilot visit to the particular area. In the pilot visit, you have to interact with the local people and the other line department officials and the local local government, the locally elected people and administrators. You have to interact with them. Which one of the time is the best time for data collection? Which one of the best time for survey? And you have to find out that crap calendar of the particular area. So when that people are more busy, when the people are lean, so we have to study well, not only with the interaction with the people, then we have to go for secondary document like your crap calendar and fair and festivals, those things to be studied well. And you have to fix the you have to get the prior permission from the government officials and the local officials. So when I have to come, this is the duration I am going to conduct my survey. Likewise, you have to get the prior permission and whether that time is suitable for the local people or not. So this is the socio-economic data to be collected to the particular field with the people. Which one of the month, which one of the time is ideal for them? So that you have to get prior to the conduct of the survey with the local officials to write them and get the permission and discuss with the other people, those who are familiar with the field, and other sources like your crop calendar, fair and festivals, likewise. And you can fix the date for the, otherwise your survey will be getting. And sometimes you may be getting some assistance of soil surveyors or maybe a geologist or maybe a hydrologist. Then which one of the month they are free and which time they will be free, whether in the morning or in the evening, likewise. So we have to fix, before go to the field, we have to conduct a pilot study to fix this events. Then only our field visit will be perfect. Otherwise, when we, before preparation, when we go there, there are several hindrances to us not to conduct properly. That is a problem.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Any questions from others?
சாதாரண எல்லாம் கேட்க மாட்டாங்க, வெப்ல வச்சு கேட்டா யார் கேட்க, முதல்ல உட்காந்துருக்காங்கன்னு தெரியல, அது வரை பார்க்கணுமே.
They are
Yes, our people are so good.
Yes, and a lot of appreciations coming up in the message box, not questions.
Okay.
I hope they understood well.
All are positive or negative?
Excellent, apt illustration, very information presentation, informative, nice presentation. All compliments only, sir. Madam?
Yes, sir. It was really very, very informative. I think students enjoyed thoroughly. That is why there are no questions, I believe.
Thank you,
And
madam.
it was explained well with your experience. That really made it very interesting, sir. Can I ask Dr. Venkatesan to say something? Yeah.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. So, shall I say vote of thanks, ma'am?
If you have any comments, also you can talk.
Actually, I was interested with the responsibility of.
Yeah, I know. You are very responsible, but I thought you will speak something because Bala has spoken. Dr. Arun, one by one, I thought of calling. Do you have any comments specifically, Dr. Akriti? Then, as usual, we can go to the formality.
No formality.
No, sir. Formal vote of thanks is very much. Actually, really, it is taken the pain to come over here and more than 1.5 hours. We didn't even see the time. So that much continuous flow it was there, and we really thoroughly enjoyed it, sir.
Yes,
There are
sir.
no other questions. Yeah, Akriti.
That is our duty, madam. As a teacher, that is our duty to give something to the young brains.
Yes, sir. That is true.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for such an insightful lecture. I especially liked all the photographs you shared and all the description that you gave. It was like in this COVID times where while we are stuck at home, we feel we are going out and, feeling the different environments and ecosystems. So it was very, very interesting. And I'm glad you could take out time for this lecture. Like really amazing, sir.
Yeah,
Thank
the
you.
photographs on gorge and other things are really very, very. Still
Yeah.
it is there in your eyes.
Yes.
Very beautiful photographs. Yeah.
Madam, our title is field worker. Without photograph, again I am conducting the class means that is also a theory.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, really, we are looking forward that trip. What you are going to plan. Dr. Bala was just mentioning, taking our students along with the Madras University students for a
Not a
field
problem.
experience.
No barrier, madam. Not a problem. We will.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sir's
Dr. Arun?
trademark is he will pick a place and he will maybe there for 3-4 days, and he will teach from geology to sociology. A kind of like a regional, real local regional geography.
Balu, one suggestion: don't go for extensive way. இங்கிருந்து அங்க போறது அங்க போறது just select a small place, work for about 5 days 10 days. That will be more helpful to them. Or traveling a larger distance, longer distance, they will be enjoying but without knowing the subject.
Yes, that's true.
By spending more money.
Yes. So we thought starting this kind of with Visakhapatnam, but COVID collapsed our plan. But of course, in in future we will pick a place and we settle. And with your able guidance, we can do.
Okay, Dr. Venkat is waiting. Yes, Venkat.
Everybody is waiting nearer to 6 o'clock.
Dr. Venkat?
Okay, ma'am. Good evening, everyone, to the one and all present here. I hope you have all enjoyed the informative lecture the Geography Department CUT organized, which was delivered by Professor G. Bhaskaran sir for you today. And it's an honor and privilege for me to offer a vote of thanks on behalf of Geography Department, Central University of Tamil Nadu. I would like to express my gratitude to all those who helped make this event happen and successful. So first and foremost, I would like to immensely thank all those who were instrumental in having laying foundation for such a vibrant and wonderful department in CUTM, because we are celebrating today the department's foundation day, and so that gave us this opportunity to gather and discuss and celebrate the day. I extend my gratitude to our honorable guest speaker, Professor G. Bhaskaran sir, to take out time from his busy schedule to grace the event. And thank you very much, sir, for inspiring and enlightening us with your lecture on this special day. During the lecture that is on field skills of geography, Professor Bhaskaran sir vividly explained about the importance of field survey and the skills required to conduct geographical survey in a better manner. And he also spoke about how to develop field skills, reasons for carrying out field work and field study, and methods, strategies of field survey, etc. And the lecture also included some of the real-time field survey experiences, which were immensely helpful in understanding the field survey process as a whole. And in fact, it is the striking feature of this lecture, so that our participants could learn so many things and enrich their knowledge. So we are very much grateful to you, sir. And I on behalf of Geography Department, especially thank Dr. Balasubramani, Assistant Professor of Geography, CUTN, for orchestrating such a wonderful event on this special occasion. And I extend my gratitude to our beloved HOD, Department of Geography, Professor Sulochana Shekhar ma'am, for organizing and formulating such a wonderful, resourceful webinar to mark the Foundation Day celebrations amidst this pandemic situation. And I also thank my fellow colleagues, Dr. Akriti, Dr. Arun, for making this webinar successful. And last but not least, I thank all the MSc Geography students, research scholars from the Geography Department, and other participants for their active participation. And once again, thank everyone for making the event a great success. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
sir.
you. Good job.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Some other lectures. I think Sarah has left.
Yes, I think he has meeting already.
Okay, okay. Yeah, thank you, participants. It's been more than 1.5 hours, 2 hours. They are sitting.
Yeah,
They should
almost was.
already started leaving. Yeah, before they leave, let us leave. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, madam.
Yeah, 1 minute. Dr. Akriti, Venkat, and Arun, please send your faculty workload. Today I have to submit it by evening. Yeah. I have sent a mail. Please check your mail. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thanks, sir. I'm closing the meeting.